Hello and welcome back. Oh, do I have a tasty one for you today. I am making my most viral and luxurious recipe that uses a whole lobster tail. It is for all my seafood lovers out there. I am slathering that lobster tail in butter, and not just any regular butter. This is my garlic confit butter. It uses my famous garlic confit cloves and is packed to the brim with fresh herbs. We are then grilling that lobster tail on the barbecue until it is moist, tender, and just absolute lobster perfection. I'm then going to take that lobster meat and turn it into one decadently rich lobster tail roll. It's my garlic confit grilled lobster tail and lobster roll. First up, and you guessed it, we need a whole lot of garlic for this recipe, specifically to make the garlic confit butter with. Usually, I like to pop my garlic confit cloves into a heat-proof bowl and cover them in boiling hot water for 5 minutes to help loosen those skins. This makes it very easy for them to be peeled off. But today, I am going to try a new method by popping all of my garlic cloves into a jar, screwing the lid on, and giving them a good old shake. Now, I have been told this was a very easy way to quickly peel off garlic skin, as the shaking will make the skin slide right off. But as you can see, this was not the case for me. It was quite the task, and I was absolutely exhausted by the end of it. Oh my God. When I removed my garlic from the jar, I could see that it had worked for some, but most of the garlic still had their skin attached. While I could peel those off, I think I'll stick to my way next time. To make the garlic confit, place the garlic cloves into an oven-proof dish, fully submerge with olive oil, and then bake for 1 to 2 hours at 150 degrees Celsius or 300 degrees Fahrenheit. Remove from the oven once golden and caramelized. Do a little squish test with 1 clove, and if it squishes easily with the back of a spoon, then we are good to go. Separate the garlic confit cloves from the oil and set both to the side for now. Now onto the lobster, and this guy is a beauty. Just look at how big this lobster tail is and the gorgeous pattern on the shell. This is an Australian lobster tail weighing in at just under 1 kilo. We are going to butterfly the tail for this recipe, and to do so you need a pair of kitchen scissors and one very sharp, and I mean sharp, knife. Begin by finding the middle of the tail and then placing your scissors between the shell and flesh so you are only cutting through the shell. Stop at this part here. By doing this step, we are giving our knife a bit of a head start to cut through all of that hard shell. Grabbing your sharp knife, pierce it all the way through the shell and the flesh as well. Apply some pressure to get your knife all the way through. Open up the 2 sides of the lobster tail, and there you go, a beautiful butterflied lobster tail. Just make sure you remove any of those yucky parts. Time to make our garlic confit butter. I am going to make a large batch of it today because I always love to have it in my fridge to use in so many of my other recipes. That being said, we need a lot of butter. I am using a whole stick of butter, which is 400 grams. Using a food processor, combine the butter, all those garlic confit cloves, a large handful of parsley, and a large handful of fresh chives. Drop in a large pinch of salt and pepper, and then blend on high until everything is well combined. Your butter will end up looking like this. Doesn't it have the most gorgeous green color to it? Since we made such a large batch of garlic confit butter, reserve roughly 1/3 of it for this recipe by placing it into a bowl and then setting to the side. I'm then going to grab a very large sheet of baking paper, place the remaining butter onto it at the edge closest to me, and I am then going to roll it up into a log. Twist the ends in opposite directions very tightly and keep in your fridge for up to 4 weeks. This butter is so delicious in almost anything, including a roast chicken or my favorite, garlic bread. The last thing we need to do before heading over to the grill is just slice up some lemons and season the lobster tail. I have 2 large lemons here that were actually gifted to me by my neighbor who had them growing in her backyard. Aren't they lovely? Slice them into very thick slices so they don't fall apart when we pop them onto the grill. Brush a good amount of that garlic confit olive oil onto each side of the lobster tail and then season generously with salt and pepper. Place everything onto a tray, and now let's head over to the grill that I have been preheating on high for the last 15 minutes. Once the grill has reached 200 degrees Celsius or 390 degrees Fahrenheit, place the lobster tail flesh side down. Scatter the lemon wedges around the lobster. I'm using a grill-safe pot to melt the garlic confit butter in that I will brush onto the lobster flesh once we flip it over. Close the lid and leave the lobster to cook for 6 minutes or until the flesh has turned pink and has slightly charred. Flip the lemons and the lobster over and brush with a generous amount of the butter. Cook for an additional 4 minutes, basting the lobster with the butter every minute or so. Remove everything from the grill and leave to rest for several minutes. Once the lobster is cool enough to handle, season it with a big squeeze of the caramelized lemon juice and then remove the meat from the shell by pulling it out with your hands. Cut into large pieces and enjoy with an extra dipping of garlic confit butter. Now this lobster meat is so delicious on its own that we could call it a day, but I am going to quickly whip it up into one pretty epic lobster roll. On a medium heat in a large fry pan, fry brioche rolls in butter until golden and crispy. Begin assembling your lobster roll by smearing 2 garlic confit cloves onto the bottom, followed by a layer of mayonnaise, a very generous portion of the gorgeous lobster meat, some finely sliced shallots and chives, and lastly, top it with the brioche roll. Now that's what I call a lobster roll. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video or made this recipe at home, please let me know in the comments. I always love to hear from you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and I will catch you next week.